Hi, I'm Sophie from Master Sophie. Welcome to this video tutorial all about surds. We're doing a whole series on surds, how you add them, how you divide them, how you simplify them. And that's exactly where we're going to start now on key skill 1, how to simplify surds. We're going to be doing all of these questions. So let's get started. We need to break down the square root of 500 into a number in front and a square root. So we have to find out what are A and what are B. There's two different methods for doing this, so we're going to start with the first method. The first method is, if you know your square numbers here, 1, 4, 9, 16, etc., you can write the 500 as a product of a square number and another number. So in this instance, because 500 can be divided by 100, that's one of my square numbers here. I can start the question by simply rewriting 500 as a square number, so I'm using 100, and it would be 100 times 5 to make up to 500. Now, what I'm going to do now is use my rules to say that I can split this square root up into 100 times square root 5. Now, the 100 we know from our table, the square root of 100 is 10. So this is 10 square root 5 as your final answer. And if you want to write underneath, A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 5. As I mentioned before, there is a second method to do this, but if you can immediately see what square number we'll divide in, I would recommend using this method. If you don't know, there's another way to do it, and we'll get to that later on with a more difficult example. Let's move on to the second example here. We have the square root of 50, so we have to think which one of our square numbers will divide into 50. Obviously, immediately you can eliminate anything bigger than 50. 49 can't divide in, so anything over here is gone. The answer is in fact 25. If you need some help working out which numbers will divide into 50, you can think about your divisibility rules. 50 ends in a 0, which means it can be divided by 2, but it can also be divided by 5 and 10. Anything with a 0 at the end can be divided by 5 and 10. And if you look at 5 squared, it's going to be 25. We're going to use 25 as our square number that divides in. We're going to rewrite 50 as 25, the square number in the front, times 2. Then we're going to split up the square root and the number. We already talked about how 25, the square root of 25 is 5 because 5 squared is 25, so it's the reverse operation. So the square root of 25 we're going to change into 5 times by square root of 2. So final answer, 5 square root 2. If you want to write down, you can have A is 5 and B is 2. For our third example, we're going to use another one of our divisibility rules to see which number will go into 27. If you want to see if something can be divided by 3, if you add the numbers, for example, 2 plus 7 is 9. That number is in the 3 times table, so that means 27 can be divided by 3. So if we look here, 3 squared is 9. So we can say 27 can be split into 9 times 3. So we put again the square root on both numbers separately. And we change the square root of 9 into 3. Now we're going to look at a bit more of a tricky example. We're going to look at square root of 98. Using my divisibility rules, I can't think of anything that will divide into 98. So what I'm going to do is use my prime decomposition technique. So I'm going to take 98 and I'm going to break it down. So 98 can be divided by 2 because it's ending in an 8. If something ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8, it can always be divided by 2. If I want to see what 98 is divided by 2, I can divide it down here. So 2 goes into 9 4 times, remainder 1, and 2 goes into 18 9 times. So this is 2 times 49. So 2 is a prime number, so I put a red circle around it. Now 49 can be broken down into 7 times 7. So these are both prime numbers, so I put a circle around it, and there's nowhere I can continue now. Every branch is ending in a prime number. So I'm going to rewrite 98 into 2 times by 7 squared. Because I had 1 2 and 2 7s. Now I'm going to put the square root onto both numbers separately. Now, whenever you have a square root together with a power 2, they will cancel each other out. So that will leave me with just 7. And I have the final answer of 7 square root 2. So this technique is good if you are not sure which square number will divide in. You can break it down to its prime factors and split it up, and every time you have a square root with a power 2, you can cancel it off. I'm just going to make a quick detour and show you how that would work if we had, for example, we had to find square root 8. Now 8 we can break down into 4 times 2. 2 is a prime number, so I can get a circle. 4 can break down into 2 times 2 again. So if I was doing something like square root 8, I would end up with the square root of 2 cubed. Now, this isn't useful for us because we can only cancel off a square root with a power 2. So what I would do in this situation is I would change power 3 into 2 squared times 2 power 1. And that's useful because now when I split it down, I can have 2 power 2 times the square root of 2. And now I've only got a 2 and not a 3. These two can cancel. So this would then be 2 times by square root of 2, or 2 square root 2. So every time you have a power that's bigger than 2, break it down into 2's. So that each time you can cancel off a power 2 with a square root 2. So if I had something like 3 power 5, for example, I could write that as 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 power 1. Because then when I took the square root of that, so I would have, that would cancel for 3, that would cancel for 3, and then I would have square root 3. Now in this situation, I have these two numbers. I should multiply my numbers together. We're going to talk about that more later on. But in general, numbers get multiplied with numbers and square roots with square roots. So that would become 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 square root 3. So any powers bigger than 2, you break them down into as many 2's you can have, and whatever's left over here. Okay. Thanks for watching. We're going to move on to key skill 2 now, so continue to watch. Maybe go and have a quick break, have a cup of tea and rest, and then let's get back studying after that. The team at Maths with Sophie have made a free ebook to go with this video series. We've broken the topic down into small, manageable sections. Each section has a video tutorial that you're already watching, interactive questions, and model solutions from exam questions. To claim your free ebook, you don't need to download anything, you don't need to sign up for anything. You simply click the link below and it will open in the web browser of your phone, tablet, or computer. If you enjoy using our free ebooks, make sure you check out our website because we have other ebooks on different topics.